Let's get it.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. Yes, we're already on the second day of October. We are headed towards the end of 2024. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully you're having an amazing, amazing morning. Hopefully you had a good night last night. I am Tech Coach Ralph. We are, as always, engineered to win. So this is the Coffee and Kata Morning Show. We're going to review some news stories, and then we're going to get into our working on our app. First and foremost, we do have, I have to schedule the premiere, but we do have our software explorations, concept and overviews. Premiering at noon Eastern time today, we're going to be talking about daily Scrum stand-up meetings on why, to me, that is the most important meeting in the Agile ceremonies. So that's going, and you know what it is, how we normally do, but that's going to be at noon today. So definitely want to tune in, hang out with me in the chat as we go over that. Like I said, to me, that's one of the most important meetings. And I also offer some tips on how you can start to facilitate that as you make your transition into the tech space. All right. And go to techcoachralph.dev. Yesterday, dropped the video on how to use Glassdoor and a little bit of AI to help you prepare for interviews. So that's techcoachralph.dev. You can also sign up for one-on-one coaching so that I can work with you one-on-one to help you out. All right. With that being said, we're going to get into our news. But first, you know what, before we get into the news, right, I just want to say this. Where you're from does not make you a liar, right? There's nothing that says if I am from this state or this city that is why that you're supposed to lie, all right? So when people say or the way that you grew up does not make you a liar. So if you grew up a middle class kid, or if you grew up in a state, right? And you say, and you justify that for why you get caught in lies. Sorry, you cannot do that. Where you are from does not make you a liar. Just bad character makes you a liar. All right. With that being said, let's jump into our news for today. All right, let's put up our first timer. So, Amazon scores partial antitrust win. Well, at least somebody's winning their antitrust case. I guess Amazon had to pay up. All right. So a portion of the Federal Trade Commission's antitrust lawsuit against Amazon has been dismissed by the federal court in Seattle. However, it was not immediately clear which parts of the case were thrown out, reports Reuters. As U.S. District Judge John Chung issued a sealed ruling on the case. Amazon has petitioned the court to dismiss the FTC's lawsuit in December, arguing that there was no evidence consumers had been harmed. The FTC can still move forward on any claims that were not permanently tossed. Separately, UK regulators recently closed an antitrust investigation into Amazon's partnership with Anthropic. So, shout out to Amazon and their little win against the big, massive federal government, always trying to sue people for antitrust. And shout out to my guy in the building, Rod Brown, aka the one, the only Mr. Tech Daddy himself. How are you doing, Rod Brown? Hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully you return back home very, very soon, right? I'm praying that you get back home very, very soon. Keep up the great work as always.
We the best.
All right, let's jump into our next story for today. So, sales challenges awaits Nike's CEO. You know, we love our Nikes, right? We love our Nikes. Nike's latest quarterly results illustrates the challenges that incoming CEO Elliot Hill will confront upon his return to the sneaker giants. Move on. I got you. Let's start up another timer. The sneaker giants later this month. Sales fell 10% to $11.59 billion, or so 11.59 billion, missing analyst estimates amid weak demand in both its direct to customer business and its wholesale segment. The shares slumped in after hours trading. Nike also postponed its investor day. Oh, that sucks. A move Bloomberg says will give Hill more time to develop his turnaround strategy. He'll be tasked with repairing relationships with longtime business partners, including DSW and Foot Locker, which deteriorated under outgoing CEO John Donahoe. So, my advice to the new CEO, Elliot Hill, is to start off, whenever he's speaking, saying, I grew up a middle-class child from the great state of whatever state you want to choose, and that sometimes you misspeak and that you're a knucklehead, and then that'll make everything better, and then the share prices, the sales will go booming through the roof. You can take that to the bank. All right, in other news, let's continue on with our news for today. So, some not so great news. Hurricane Helene, or depending on at what point it hit you, some people it was tropical storm, some people it was hurricane. It is crazy because by the time it got to the places that it did the most damage, it was I don't know if it was still a hurricane at that time, because when it hit Florida, it was a hurricane category 4, right? But by the time that it hit like those other states, I think it might have been downgraded to like a tropical storm, and the amount of damage that it did.
Okay, let's move on.
It was out of this world. Like I seriously, I saw a video of a house floating away, and I think it was in like North Carolina or something. I was in utter shock. It was crazy, right? But let's read this. So Helene brought 40 T gallons? What does that mean? 40 trillion? So I didn't want to believe it was 40 trillion. I did, but it was 40 trillion. Oh my goodness. Meteorologists have quantified how much rain drenched the South in the past. Hurricane Helene and a rainstorm that preceded it dropped an unheard of 40 trillion gallons of water on the region. The storm also killed more than 150 people and could cost up to $160 billion, AccuWeather estimates, in addition to exacerbating an insurance crisis. With many areas still flooded, rescue efforts ongoing, hundreds of people remain unaccounted for, and approximately 1.4 million homes still without power. President Joe Biden has said he may call on Congress to approve additional aid, and hopefully they do approve additional aid. But here's my fear about this additional aid, right? Here's my fear. I think that our tax dollars should go towards helping people who were affected by these major catastrophes, right? But we all know what the federal government loves to do. They're going to try to drop, little things here and there to try to get that passed in with their bills. With this additional aid, they're probably going to say, well, and while we're doing this aid, we're going to send this much money to this country and this much money to that country, and then we're going to try to do this at the border, and we're going to do and they're just going to try to packet a bunch of stuff, and that little community center in California who wanted to get a basketball hoop, you're going to see another $1 billion in funding for that. So that is my fear when with these aid bills, because they just try to packet a bunch of other stuff in there. Rod Brown says that it hit my area at a category 1 before. Okay. So damn, that means that it did keep its hurricane strength for a good amount of time. I thought it was I thought it after it got to Florida it reduced. I thought by the time it got to Georgia it got to like a tropical storm, but apparently not. So yeah, I mean, and here's the thing with that, right? Florida, I guess I'd say more of like the East Coast and South Florida are a little bit more prepared to deal with hurricanes. I mean, they still get we still get like flooding and stuff like that, but the West Coast of Florida is maybe a little less prepared as they don't get hit with hurricanes as much as the East Coast does, because like most hurricanes they originate in the Atlantic, so they have a better chance of hitting the East Coast of Florida, so we're a little bit more fortified. But when it comes from the Gulf, it's a little bit like more challenging. But then I would say the other states who are a lot more affected right now, they like because they don't have these hurricane threats often, they're just not as prepared in like the infrastructure and things like that. So that's why we see like such damaging like so bad outcomes from it. But you know we are hoping that we're hoping that everyone gets a lot better. So and we have Alexis in the building, says grateful it wasn't worse, and that's the thing, you know. And here's the thing with that, right? Because Alexis is right. When these events happen, in one spot it's not as bad as expected, but then in another spot it's like, what in the world happened here? I remember Hurricane Katrina, right? And that's why one thing about these hurricanes, I never like to joke about them. Because, all right, so with Hurricane Katrina, when it passed through South Florida, like barely anything, like people were like bracing for impact in South Florida, but it just barely passed through South Florida. And people were joking like, oh, you know, like the worst that happened in South Florida was a bunch of like a few lawn chairs that flipped over. It wasn't that bad. But however, after it passed through Florida and went into the Gulf and it picked up steam, it hit Louisiana, New Orleans, like with such impact. And a lot of hurricanes have done the same thing, because one thing with hurricanes, like they affect different parts and they pick up steam, and like what happened in those regions was very, very catastrophic. And so that's like the danger with hurricanes is like it might not impact one spot too bad, but then you see in North Carolina houses floating away and things of that nature. So hurricanes are no joke. And it's like it's hard to prepare for something that rarely happens. Like Florida, we're always at threat. Every year we have hurricane season, but in those other states, it's like it's so rare that like I remember when it hit like New York and New Jersey. Hurricanes never hit New York and New Jersey, so it was so bad. So and I wouldn't expect New York, New Jersey areas to prepare for hurricanes like they would prepare for like snowstorms, blizzards, and those type of things. But you know, things happen. You know, and you just got to figure it out at that point. All right, let's get to our next story for today. All right, so job openings unexpectedly rise. So what is going on here? So for all those people looking for a job, is that a sign of good news? Job openings unexpectedly hit a 3-month high, contradicting recent signs of softening in the U.S. labor market. Available positions rose to 8.04 million in August from a revised 7.71 million in July. The most recent Bureau of Labor Statistics job openings and labor turnover survey showed Tuesday. At the same time, however, the hiring rate fell to the lowest level since the onset of the pandemic, while the rate at which workers quit positions fell to 1.9, also the lowest since 2020, in a sign of wariness about their ability to find new jobs. So I'll say this, right? I will say this. So statistics give you just data, right? But and maybe if I think we're going to be looking drilling down into the JOLTS this Saturday. But what I wonder is what is the sector, right? Because let's say that there are 2 million tech jobs that get laid off, but 45,000 people go on strike at the ports and the docks. So now there's 45,000 job opening, but it's to work at the ports and the docks. And me, I don't have the skill set to go and work at the docks. I can figure it out, of course. And I'll be in there handling all those automation tools that they don't want to use. Don't get me wrong, but it's it's like what jobs are opening, what jobs are open versus what jobs are like not available. So if a bunch of sales jobs become open, but a bunch of tech jobs are not, then so that's why we have to, and that's why you got to join us on Saturday morning. You got to join us on Saturday morning for the Men Lie, Women Lie Numbers Manipulate show, co-hosted by Mitch and Yakar from the chat. I have to say that due to contractual obligations. But yeah, so we're gonna see if we can make any headway on that. All right. So and Alexa says so true. Yep, and that's the in regards to the hurricane thing. It's like hurricanes are so. When you think about it, tornadoes as well, right? I've seen how a tornado, and I haven't seen this personally, right? But being that I work with people from the Midwest, how a tornado can demolish one house, and then the two houses next to it are left like untouched. So these natural disasters, they are crazy. They are crazy. All right. And we got my guy in the building. What's going on? Mr. Tech Pookie himself. Good morning, Yakar. How are you doing today? It is early for your car. It is 5:25 for my guy Yakar out there on the West Coast. I'm just saying. But shout out to my guy Yakar, always working, no days off. All right. Let's jump. We have two more stories today. We have two more. I always keep forgetting to start the timer, but whatever. All right. Let's get to this story right here. So CVS to lay off almost 3,000 workers. Wait a second. This one says job openings unexpectedly rise. And then this one says CVS to lay off almost 3,000 workers. Jeez. They sure know how to join the stories next to one another. All right. CVS Health says it's planning to lay off 2,900 employees, or less than 1% of its workforce, as it mulls a possible breakup under pressure from investors. But here's the thing, right? Well, I guess which type of employees are they laying off? I guess is it like people at the pharmacy? Is it the cashiers? Is it the stock people? Is it delivery drivers? I'm just curious, right? The nation's largest drugstore by market share added that the job cuts would affect corporate roles, not frontline roles in our stores. Okay, so it's corporate people who are getting laid off. All right. Not frontline jobs in our stores, pharmacies, and distribution centers. CVS, which began closing roughly 900 stores in 2022, disclosed layoffs for about 5,000 workers last year. Pharmacies have been struggling with lower reimbursement rates for drugs and competition for snacks and household items from Amazon and big box chains such as Walmart. So they lowered the price of insulin to $35. It cost $5 or however much they said, $7 to make whatever insulin is distributed in, right? But pharmacies have been struggling to lower reimbursement rates for drugs and competition for snacks and household items from Amazon and big box chains such as Walmart. And you know that there's a lot of online pharmaceutical companies as well, or not pharmaceutical but pharmacies. I think.
Okay, let's move on.
I think Amazon has some type of pharmacy service as well. It's competition, and when it comes to insurance, because it's the whole healthcare industry is a mess because of so much involvement via third-party forces, right? So many third-party arbitrators that make the prices skyrocket. But it is what it is. This is what we go for, right? And our last story for today. Doctors use AI for patient messages. What in the world? So let's see. Doctors are overloaded with patient messages on top of their packed schedules. Enter artificial intelligence, which is increasingly being used to sort, prioritize, and even respond to those inquiries, according to the New York Times. Its use is not without controversy, however. Patients often aren't aware that AI generated the response they received, and the technology is prone to errors, sometimes even making clinical recommendations. Healthcare systems have been experimenting with a number of ways to help alleviate stress on doctors, including charging for messages. Have you ever heard of Teladoc? So I use Teladoc a couple of times, right? And you see, like you pay for whatever it is that that you want to talk about, and then you can upload some pictures of whatever problem that you're having, and then a doctor will respond and tell you, oh, this is what it is, right? Here's the interesting thing. I had made an appointment like earlier this year, or maybe it was end of last year. I think it was end of last year. And the next available appointment was maybe a month and a half away. Via Teladoc, they responded to me in about 10 minutes and they were exactly correct with whatever the thing was, and they told me what to do. I still had to end up seeing an actual doctor for a prescription, but actually no, I had to it was whatever. But I got a response in like 5 to 10 minutes versus having to wait a month and a half for an appointment. So doctors using AI, I'm all for it. I don't think AI should be making clinical recommendations, at least not yet. But I think if the doctors are using it to summarize notes, to do research, and then it provides the doctor the research, and then the doctor has the final approval on what's being sent, then I'm more with it. But I don't think it's a good idea for AI to do all the interaction and to do the clinical recommendations. But that is just me. I am not a doctor. And yeah. So anyways, that is our news for today. All right. So we have, let me see. We have the one, the only Roxy in the building. Good morning, Roxy. How are you doing today? Hopefully all is well. Shout out to Roxy. All right. So let's do I forgot to start I forgot to start the 45-minute timer. So I'm going to have to make a note of that to get that started. But I will throw up a 20 minutes.
It's time to do.
And we are going to continue working on, let me see. And I got to work on this other app too, maybe this afternoon. But I'm almost done with that. But all right, so we have, let's go over here. And one issue that we were working on Monday was when you clear out the field, we're getting an error. So I'm gonna pull up where's my mouse? I'm gonna pull up the increment. All right, so let's get this app started. And we'll just have to figure out how to get that field to update. Because I'll show you, but when we have like the hour or the minute field blank, then it's going to give us this. So let's say I put, and let's say I go here, right? So this is correct. This is calculating correctly. But then if I go to if I go to here and I clear this out it gives me a an exception. Unhandled exception. Type no is not a subtype of the num. So what I need to do is when it's blank, it automatically sets it to 0. And we were trying to do that. I was looking around on Monday, but we had some limitations on that. So what I want to do, I want to look at the documentation. Always looking at documentation to see if there's any place in here that we would be able to force that 0 if we were to type in if we were just like to leave it blank, right? Enable min max clamping. Let me see what this sounds like. It might be it. Clamp the value to either min or max depending on which value is exceeded. If min is 3 and max is 5 and the user enters 7, it will be clamped to 5. And if the user enters 1, it will be clamped to 3. But what if they don't enter anything? So that's the issue that we're having. All right, let's keep looking. So the initial field is 0. That's fine. Is init is true. A flag indicates if the field only accepts integers to use doubles. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for. Number field decoration. That's not it. I wonder why they this is such. Let me see if I can fix this. I hate fixing other people's bad code. Let me see if I can make this with, oops. Nope. Let me see. I don't know why. It's like something is limiting this. Okay. There we go. Much better. Much, much better. All right. So, let's see. All right. That's good. Validator. A validator function which accepts a string and performs some type of validation. This is called when the field is wrapped inside a form widget. Not really. A validator that parses the number into an int or double is enabled by default. Additionally, not really. Let me see. On increment, on decrement, on submitted, on changed. A callback. I don't see anything in particular for that. And the issue is happening clamp and update. So by default, enable min max clamping is defaulted to true. So we need a way to force it to be 0, because it's not a, like, I wouldn't want to release it with this. So, let me see. Initial value set to 0. Maximum, minimum. This is passed down underlying. However, this to perform some default validation like min, max, and base validations. I guess we're gonna have to mess with it. Well, let's find out. Let's see what we can do. All right, let's see. So this is where the problem lies right here. When I have this to blank, so if your total hours spent on activity is empty, set the value to 0. And is that showing? Let me see if I can find where this is getting the error. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay. Clamp and update. But it's not showing exactly where the error is coming from. I mean, like, so, let me see. I'm just gonna put a print test in here. So by me putting the print test in here, I just want to see if it's like getting to this step, right? So we run it again. All right, and we go here, and we do 1. And then, so, all right, so we see this test over here. So that got here, right? And now if I erase this, and we have our error here, but I don't, so it's not even getting to that step over here. So that means our issue lies above this right here, right? So if we go back up to unchanged. Let me see what's inside of this number field decoration. Would it be here? So before it even gets to this unchanged, because if I put 1 in here, we have the test, right? If I remove this, we're going to have uncancelled at, ooh, what's uncancelled? I haven't heard of uncancelled. Was there an uncancelled over here? Let's take a look. I don't think there's an uncancelled. On increment, on unchanged. I don't see an uncancelled. Nope, it's only unsubmitted is the only other one left. Let me see. Type no is not a subtype of none. I wish I could. So if I, all right, let's go here. Controller return current value. So the error is happening in here. So if you have no in here, num to string, and then num to string down here. Widget return widget is integer current value to string. All right, controller dot text. Text position current value as string dot length. Set the text to the controller and correct the cursor position. Okay. Let's see where so all right, so on changed, clamp and update, try parse new value. Oh, okay, I see what's been happening here. But when you have try parse new value, if widget.onChange is not equal null, widget onChange parsed and clap. But what if it does equal null? What do you do if it does equal null? Let me see. If default validator enable var parsed and clamped, clamp update, try parse new value, widget enable. So, but clamping is already enabled though by default, right? Let's see. So it's already true by default. I mean, we can try it. I don't think that's going to work, but. So if we go here, we have that. We go here. We still have our error, but if we were to do this X right here, that resets it to 0. So if we look at unchanged on increment, on decrement. So we have, all right, okay, hold on one second. So on decrement, we have some code in here. But, I don't know. Let me see. All right, so if we're looking in here, right? So if, oh, maybe that's what it is. All right, so if I go down over here and I take out the, let's say we try this right here. All right, let's try that. What? Let's try that again. All right, let's see what's going on. So let's say we do this, and then we do that. What in the world is going on over here? Why are you crashing on me? Lost connection to device. That's weird. Okay. And then we go here. And then we go here. Still happening. Okay. Exception type is null. Let's see. On increment. All right, so let me see. Well, let's see. All right, so the error is increment, decrement. Same spot. But it should give me the... on increment. Wait a second. I thought did I put it on in decrement? Ah, okay, I put it on decrement. Let's try it up here too. Let's see. And then still unchanged. Oh, because it's all right. So yeah, okay. If we go into let's see. Let's see here. So here it's saying that clamp and update type null is not a subtype of null. Okay, fair. But let me see. So let's look up this error again. Oh, I wasn't even sharing the screen. Great. All right. So anyways, let's see. Let me see. I don't see it. Let me see. See on Reddit what they say. I don't know. That one's a tricky one. Let me see if, or maybe it's let me see. If no.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
I don't see. It's not empty if equals null. Oh, let me see. I don't think that was it. Yeah, we see we already have that one right there. Dot text. I don't know. Anyways, I'll keep working on this. Got to figure out how to get this to default to 0. But we'll figure it out. Anyways, let's go back to full screen. All right, let me check the chat and then we'll wrap it up for today. Well, we got some good news in the chat. Rod Brown says learned that his area got power back this morning so he can go back home. That's awesome. That is great news. And Roxy said, how am I doing? I am doing well, Roxy. Thank you so much for asking. Appreciate you for being here. Always appreciate you. Let me see. And let's see. Roxy has a great question that I would like to know the answer to myself, right? So let's do this real quick. Give me a second. Let's just put Lumpy up real quick. So Roxy's asking, how is Lumpy? And your car says that Lumpy is in his pen. It's too early for him to be out and about. That is a great final thing to touch on, making sure that Lumpy is doing well. But we're going to get out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much. So Lumpy and I will end the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. As you see us trying to figure this stuff out, this is part of development. This is part of the tech field. You do not just figure it out on your first go round. It's a journey. It is a journey, all right? And your car is asking for it. What a way to start your morning, all right? With that being said, we're going to get out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys at noon on the Software Explorations, and I will see you guys live tomorrow night as we continue building our Urban Dictionary of Economic Data using React and APIs and databases. And Alexa says, no, please don't do it. Please don't. Alexa is saying this right now.
Do not come.
Sorry, too late. But we are out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful Wednesday and a wonderful rest of your week. This is Tech Coach Ralph, and we are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.